Om Nityanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisam Tattvamasya Adilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Okay, before the Gita, let us first salute to Bhagavan. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. I salute unto you, Bhagavan, Sri Krishna, Guru of the world, Son of Vasudeva, Supreme Bliss of Devaki, Destroyer of Kamsa and Chanura. I bow down to you. Yesterday, we were speaking about existence has provided, is providing, and will provide for each and every one of our needs. Our suffering, our struggle, our incompletion is only because we don't trust that we are being provided all that we need. Because we carry a deep SDHD. All we need to do is act without attachment. Understand? The person centered in completion does not depend on external causes or people to feel joyful or blissful. Here, Krishna says a beautiful thing. King Janaka means, you must have heard the Ramayana, epic Ramayana. Just like Mahabharata, there's one more epic Ramayana. In that, hero and heroine, who are they? Sri Ramachandra Prabhu and Devi Sita. So Sita's father is Janaka. He is a king and an enlightened being. So Bhagavan is speaking about Janaka Maharaj. King Janaka was a beautiful example of a true karma yogi. A man of selfless authenticity in action, with a continuous commitment to enriching life in and around him. He was a king, he ruled a kingdom, and yet was unattached, liberated. Just like Krishna, who ruled a kingdom, and yet was a sannyasi in the truest sense of the word. Janaka was a model king, who was complete unto himself, untouched by the external world. A story. Once, an ascetic went to the court of King Janaka and saw how Janaka was neck deep in the activities of his kingdom, living like a king. And this ascetic, he then thought to himself, Janaka seems to be a materialistic person. He is entrapped in so many worldly matters. Janaka understood what the ascetic was thinking. See, Janaka was an enlightened being. He can understand what other people are thinking inside, right? Janaka called him and asked him, what kind of an ascetic are you? Instead of being happy and content within yourself, you are trying to find fault with others. Understand? Ascetic, the moment he saw Janaka, he started judging. Isn't it? That is why Maharaj is asking, what kind of an ascetic are you? You are trying to find fault with others. This is a grave sin, especially for an ascetic, a person who is supposed to know about these things. For this, I have to give you the most severe punishment. You will be hanged to death next week. Now the ascetic was terrified. He could not sit in peace. He spent sleepless nights thinking of the gallows. He dreamt daily that his neck was being tied to a rope. He became very thin and pale. Janaka sent a servant to call him on the day of the execution. The ascetic was unable to stand before the king. He trembled and fell on the ground. Janaka offered him some fruits and a cup of milk. He ate the food, but his mind was on the gallows. Janaka asked him, "How do you like the taste of the milk now? Is it good? Did you relish your food these past 7 days?" The ascetic replied, "O king, I could not taste the food or milk that you offered me just now. My mind is only on the gallows all the time." Janaka said, "Just like your mind is always on the gallows, my mind is always fixed on the divine. Even though I am involved in worldly activities, though I am in this world, I am out of the world. Work for the world, unattached like myself." See, the ascetic was doing the action of eating, drinking milk and everything, but his mind was on the gallows. That's why he couldn't taste it. That way, same way, Janaka, even though he was performing all the actions of kingdom, that, this, that, but his mind is on divine. He is not attached. All these worldly things. Janaka, though neck deep in the administration of his kingdom, was completely unattached and liberated. Once, Janaka was brought news that there was a fire in the city. Usually, a king would have been agitated, that a part of his kingdom was in danger. But Janaka said, "My wealth is unlimited and yet I have nothing. Even if the whole of my capital Mithila is burnt, nothing is lost to me." It is not that Janaka was not bothered that there was a fire in his kingdom. He was completely involved in what he had to do to put off the fire. But at the same time, was completely detached from the incident. He was completely in his being, not attached to the world. Please understand, only when you are completely detached can you be completely involved. When you are attached, you'll be always measuring. I did this much. Will I get that much back? Or how much am I getting back? All this. Understand? Otherwise, your very sense of ownership and emotional attachment will be a hindrance to plunging headlong into the task. You'll become very calculative, isn't it? Only when you work without any incompletion can you perform the task authentically to your peak possibility, without expectation and without being concerned about the results. Bhagavan is saying, whatever action is performed by a great person, others follow. They follow the example set by him. And he is addressing Arjuna, "O Partha, there is nothing that I must do in the three worlds. Neither am I in want of anything, nor do I have to gain anything. Yet I am always in action. If I did not engage in work with care, O Partha, certainly people would follow my path in all respects. Because he's a king. If I do not work, then these worlds would be ruined. I would be the cause of creating confusion and destruction. Even the ignorant do their work with attachment to the results. O Bharata, the wise do so without attachment for the enrichment of the people." Here, Krishna talks about the practical aspects of why a leader needs to act in a responsible manner. Understand? There's nothing which Krishna wants because he already achieved everything in these three worlds. But he's a leader. Practically, He has to act in a responsible manner. Otherwise, everybody will start following him, isn't it? Whatever he's doing, they're following. With responsibility, you experience the space of leadership consciousness, Ishwaratva. There is a difference between the state of a leader and the status of a leader. Please understand. State of a leader is different. Status of a leader is different. When you achieve the status of the leader, it is ego fulfilling and you feel great. Some politicians are good examples for this. They exert the power of their position on others without even feeling responsible. They were a little more dominating and convincing than the people whom they were trying to dominate. That's all. It is not that they were more intelligent or more capable. They were just more dominating than the people who are trying to be dominated. That's all. The state of the leader is something totally different. It is the state of the leader born from the principle of responsibility that enriches people to become responsible. Problems of all kinds, ranging from stress to discontentment and violence, result because the leader has achieved the status and not the state. A leader with the status remains only a slave. A leader with the state takes the responsibility to create more and more responsible leaders. Only when you express all the possibilities out of liberation cognition are you living your life. Life is lived when Jivan Mukta Sambhavana happens. Means the space of possibility, Jivan Mukta Sambhavana, the space of possibility, the space of leadership becomes your lifestyle. Nothing else is required for you to be a leader. Leadership consciousness is enough. It's not you're constantly working or doing something. No, you need to carry that leadership consciousness. When Vivekananda walked the length and breadth of India, he did not have anything other than leadership consciousness in his life. But wherever he went, kings washed his feet, gave their own thrones for him to sit on, received his blessings and guidance. And they also requested spiritual support. Please understand. Please listen. Just one line is enough. Whole essence. Responsibility is thinking, feeling, acting, responding, and cognizing from the truth that you are the source of everything. It is responsibility that makes you realize all possibilities. Sometimes people sit on the throne or get the power and become power centers without having the state of a leader. And we have been seeing them dying in depression or suffering in suffocation due to the power. They never enjoy the power. Unless you achieve the state, the status is a liability. If you have not achieved the state, the status binds you and also brings suffering to others. The state of responsibility, the state of leadership consciousness, Isharatva, has to be achieved first. When you do not carry the consciousness of a leader, even if you get the powers of the leader, you are bound by it, and you also bind the people who accept you as a leader and follow you. God, it's dangerous, isn't it? Leadership consciousness is an independent intelligence. It cannot be hidden from others. Once you have it, the whole world will know that you have it. The world simply listens to you. You do not need any power. political strength, or infrastructure for the world to know that you are a leader. Even if you walk on the street, you'll stand tall as a man among men. What Krishna names Arjuna as the best among men, and the world will respect you, Bhagavan says. Listen, Swamiji is not talking to you about some corporate values and principles or on something that rishis, Vedic seers have uttered in the Upanishads. Swamiji is talking to you about what he have directly experienced, which you have to experience, we have to experience. He's talking from the context of being responsible for making us responsible. Be very clear. The person who talks has only one reason: making us responsible. And Swamiji is responsible to make us experience responsibility as he have experienced it. A person with wealth is responsible to guide a poor man to wealth. A person with knowledge is responsible to make ignorant people knowledgeable. When you own, you become responsible to make everyone own. Because Swamiji owns responsibility. He owns the responsibility of making everyone own responsibility. Krishna, who owns responsibility, the space of leadership consciousness, Ishwaratva, is making Arjuna own responsibility. Bhagavan says, whatever action is performed by a great person, others follow. O Partha, there is nothing that I must do in the three worlds. Neither am I in want of anything, yet I am always in action. Please understand, there are only two types of human beings on planet Earth. Those who feel responsible for everything, and those who don't feel responsible for anything. People who feel responsible become leaders. People who don't feel responsible continue to be slaves. There are some people who don't feel responsible even for their own actions because they forget their action is going to bring its result. Their action is going to bring its result. They forget about that. Many times, even when they plan out a business, they only plan out the people they will hold responsible if it fails. They don't plan to make it successful. Plan for success, don't plan for failure. Right when you start planning, if you wonder if this fails, what do I do? You immediately think, I will hold him responsible. But holding the other responsible is not going to bring you success. Even as the thought, I will hold him responsible arises, cut it. Swamiji always says to his disciples, take responsibility for practicing what I teach you by bringing authenticity into every action. Don't just preach what I teach. Only by example can you cause others reality and radiate the teachings powerfully. Deep understanding and experiential expression of the truth happens only with taking responsibility for all your actions. Only when the space of leadership becomes your own experience does the responsibility become complete. Otherwise, if the understanding is just based on someone else's words and experience, then there is always the possibility that anyone can come and shake your belief and you will either hold the situation or others responsible. The roots of responsibility in this case are not deep and strong enough to withstand all kinds of questions. Others' questions are nothing but your own unanswered questions that you chose to suppress within you. That is what happens to Arjuna as the leader of all Kuru warriors, as the best of Bharata, even though he takes the responsibility to fight and avenge the collective irresponsibility of the Kauravas, he falls from his space of leadership and gives reasons to escape his responsibility. Arjuna, the one of taintless, pure fame, becomes a slave to his incompletions. Only when he allowed the master to enrich him, his surrender to the master happened. His surrender to the master of all masters happened. Jagat Guru Krishna, as his disciple. Please understand, unless we enrich ourselves and allow ourselves to be enriched by the master, nothing good can happen to us. Allowing the master to enrich you is the best way of enriching yourself. If you don't enrich yourself, no one can save you. If you enrich yourself, whatever you touch will be successful. If you are in the space of completion, anything you touch will be successful. Powerfulness always showers success. It never brings failure. It is a law of life. Understand? There are three types of people. The disciples or the followers, the masters, and the leaders or guides. The disciple is one who has not yet experienced and enriched himself with the teachings of the masters, but who is authentically interested and has responsibly embarked upon the path. They are disciples. The disciples need some guidance on the path. They do not yet know how to practice what is being taught. This is one kind of people. The second kind, masters. The master is one who is in the eternal space of Ishwaratva, leadership consciousness, and is in the ultimate experience of enlightenment. Out of compassion, he enriches by showing the path of responsibility to reach his state to all those who would like to be in that state. It is not necessary for the master to practice what he preaches because he is beyond the common rules of conduct. Masters need not follow what they tell you to do to reach their state. They understand the illusion of the physical plane that their body-mind system operates in. And whatever they may do physically is in a state of complete awareness. Swamiji always tells people that you need to be aware and completely present when you eat.